Hey guys, hey, this is Nay. Follow me on IG, Periscope, Twitter, Spreaker, and support me on Patreon at NayRobonYouTube. Don't forget to like this video, share this video, comment respectfully, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to your right so you can be notified of all my up and coming videos. Now, let's talk about Whitney guys. Y'all see I got my 70s porn star director look on. Child, you can't tell me nothing. So you have two separate sides when it comes down to this movie. Some people feel like, let her rest in peace. She's dead. Stop bringing up, things that she can't defend herself on. And that would include Whitney Houston and the Dee Dee Houston situation. On the other hand, me being a person that tries to always look for the good in a person, because I don't believe that bad behavior manifests out of the blue. I believe that bad behavior comes as a result of your experiences in life and or mental health concerns. So let me say this about Sissy. I feel like Sissy Houston was in denial about a lot of things. I felt like she put on a lot of facades, and she wanted to portray an image of excellence. And that's part of the reason why, when it came down to Whitney and her singing in her earlier career, that she was so hard on Whitney, because Sissy remembered instances where they would come back from an event and Whitney would be so mad at her for being so hard on her that she would just go in a room and slam the door, right? But in Sissy Houston's perspective, it was, you're my child. I know what your capacity is, and I want you to do it every time. If you're not going to do it right, don't do it at all. I mean, I on one hand, I'm like, listen, she created something beautiful, that was untouched, or that could be untouched, and I think she had good intentions, but like many mothers, like many older mothers or grandmothers, they really are in denial about what's going on with the things that are surrounding them in their household. Like, for instance, in her mind, she was like, I was very protective of my children. I didn't play when it comes to that. There would be a wrath to deal with when it came down to my children. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about the Dee Dee Warwick situation, but I will touch a little bit on it. But the oldest brother, Garland, had said that because her parents, or because their parents were always gone, they were left in other people's care. So if you can't be protective of your children the way that you claim to be, and then turn around and you're always gone and they're always left in other people's care, which supposedly opened the door to the abuse with Dee Dee Warwick, the oldest brother, Garland. Okay. So I just feel like Sissy just knew what was going on, but as long as she didn't say it and acknowledge it, then it wasn't going on. Same thing with, I didn't know that Whitney Houston's parents were divorced. I thought they were together because it was so many pictures that was shown in the documentary that those two were together. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, why are they always together? Like, Sissy wasn't with another partner. The father wasn't with another partner. So they're taking pictures like they are still in a family. So I think Sissy was just too involved in the recently. She spoke to People magazine, and she talked about, hey, look, I had no idea that they were going to be talking about Dee Dee Warwick. I had no idea. And I was clueless about it. And I felt like she still wanted to maintain this stellar image of excellence that you don't even be like, well, what the fuck is going on here? Or what is it? You just start from no. I stand by my family. No. Like, that's a dangerous bitch. That's a dangerous bitch. And you dangerous hussies that have children that be in denial when your daughters and your sons be getting touched and everything. And because y'all so pressed for the facades, your children over there hurting. This one said. Okay. So let's talk about the demons. The brothers and the daddy. Okay. So we're gonna start with Gary Garland, who does not have the same father as Whitney. He's not a Houston. He changed his name to Gary Garland Houston, once his sister made it big because he needed that affiliation with the great Whitney Houston, right? So he was actually a ball player that that went on to the NBA, the Denver Nuggets, that got dropped the first season for testing positive. They didn't say what drug it was, but he did test positive, right? And then eventually he started singing backup for Whitney, which I think is fine. But people mentioned that it could have been emasculating for him to go from the NBA to singing backup for your sister. Me, I don't care. As long as I'm getting a goddamn check, I don't care. Then we had the younger brother, who was Michael Houston, okay? And it wasn't really anything that stood out special about him. He didn't really have anything outside of his sister, right? But Michael Houston and Gary Garland were the ones that introduced their sister to the drug life. In fact, it was the friends, what's his name? The friend of the two brothers, Keith Kelly, who gave Whitney a marijuana and her first cocaine toot, as they call it, first toot of cocaine at 16 years old. So this is why I say that they're demons, okay? Because as Whitney Houston's career is getting larger and grander, no one's stepping up to say, hey, look, sis, you are out of control. Let's take care of some things. Let's get clean. Let's do this. And the reason why was, and even this was spoke on in the documentary, was that why should I? Because I'm having fun. You want me to stop my meal ticket? You want me to stop my good time? That's my sister, yeah, but I'm having a good time. And that's the selfishness that's associated with extreme drug use. So Whitney Houston had her brothers on the payroll even when they weren't working. And it was just, it was so strange to me that it wasn't coming from a humble place. When they were telling that story, it was more of a, type of thing. Like, yeah, she had us. Yeah, we was having a good time. So then we had the father, the real demon. So her father was, when they were originally in Newark, he was a city official of a corrupt agency. Okay, it was well known that the city was corrupt, and then he had did some things to put them in a better financial place, and they moved to East Orange, right? I think that was the name of the county. If I'm wrong, guys, put it below. If I say anything that's wrong or you feel is inaccurate, please put it below. Y'all know I don't mind if y'all comment respectfully, but I say respectfully, right? Then when I'm going to talk about this in depth later, but when certain things happened in her career, the father took over for Whitney's management, or did a lot of negotiations for Whitney, right? And along the way, Whitney found out that her father was stealing from her. I don't even know why you would think that your corrupt daddy who was doing stealing to the city of damn Newark wouldn't do it. Or wherever it was that they was. I don't even know why you don't trust your daddy. Like, Whitney was so used in this movie. So friggin' used. Them bastards, they were like they had a sense of entitlement that I felt was disgusting. And let me tell you why, going back to that DDMS. So after Whitney found out that he had stole money from her, or was stealing money from her, she fired him. After that, he sued her for $100 million because he felt like, oh, I got you all these deals. Yeah, I might have stole from you, but I got you all these deals, huzzy. You need me. You needed me. You needed a wolf in here to make sure your money was right. I said, this motherfucker here. So those to me were the demons outside of even the drugs. Because to me, we all know the story about the drugs. We all know about how it took over her life, how it spiraled out of control. We all know that thing. But the demons in her life that I see from the documentary was her two brothers and her dad. Let's get to Robin. Moving on, right? Robin was not actually in the movie, but it was a lot of footage of Robin in the movie, okay? And that was my first time seeing her in a relaxed state. Okay, we will expound on this later. So Whitney met Robin about when she was a teenager, about 16 years old. Her words were she thought she was tall and beautiful, right? So they had a friendship or a tight-knit friendship all the way up until she had to make a choice between what her husband wanted and her best friend, and Whitney got to a point where everything that Bobby wanted, she was giving it to him, because I will state more than one time, I really believe that Whitney Houston loved Bobby more than Bobby loved her, girl. And that is a recipe for disaster. You never marry a motherfucker that love you or that you love them more than they love you, child. A recipe for disaster. You won't catch me walk down the fucking aisle with a motherfucker that I got to beg to love me. Okay. It wasn't until the movie, till I realized and until I knew that Robin was a lesbian. It wasn't until then, because there was always accusations about those two having the type of that relationship, right? But I was like, I don't know. Maybe it was a joke to say it. Hey, Whitney and her girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. It was funny to say it. But for all the pictures that I saw of Robin, I seen a woman. But in that documentary, I seen it real. I seen a bulldagger. Robin was a dominant woman in it. Her moves were dominant. She was boyish. She was tomboyish. And y'all listen, don't hit me with that bullshit about just because somebody act like a boy or a tomboyish don't make them gay. Listen, I've been fucking with women a long time. I know a bulldagger when I see it, okay? So you put a plug on that shit. Robin's job, I'm going to say this, but what Robin gave to Whitney was she kept her motivated. There were times that Whitney didn't feel like doing things, and Robin was the only one who could get her up out of the bed, who could say, that was there for her, that was supportive of her. Now, in that case, I believe that I really, really believe that Robin loved Whitney. I really do. I just believe that, like the hairstylist, because Whitney Houston's hairstylist was in the movie too, I just believe that the hairstylist called Whitney sexually fluid. I believe that they may have kissed around or something like that, or, I don't know, maybe they might have kissed each other once, or maybe Robin may have expressed her love for Whitney. I'm not sure. But I'm not going to speculate on it, because I've read the Bobby Brown book. When Bobby Brown was talking about the relationship between her and Whitney, he said that they were just good friends. Even though it was footage of Bobby like talking to Robin saying, if I find out you fucking my wife, I said, ooh. So I think Bobby had an intimidation factor when it came down to Robin, because also in the life, guys, if you don't know this, it's very easy for us to have been in a relationship with somebody like in your younger years where you actually slept with each other, just playing around, kiki, squeezing, stuff like that. And then the person ended up being your best friend. Like that's very easy. That's very simple to happen in a life. So that might have been the case. Who knows? Maybe Bobby didn't want to tarnish Whitney Houston's image, but despite all her relationships with men, Robin stayed by her side that entire time. And I believe that Robin stayed in love with her. If that was actually their relationship, they could have been best friends. Like my wife's best friend is a straight woman. So my best friend is a straight woman. So I can't make it here or there with that. I don't want to speculate, decisively on that. I can't. Two more things about Robin. The brother, Garland, one of the demons, had said that when he spoke about Robin, he said that she was evil and she brung in something evil, almost demon-like. Garland, sir, Garland, sir, listen. All Robin wanted to do was lick her pussy. You was the motherfucker that turned her into a drug addict. And that's all I got to say about that. I believe from looking at the documentary that Whitney Houston's life spiraled out of control when Robin left. Let's get to Bobby Brown. They interviewed him in the documentary. And child, for whatever was effed up about him then, he is trying to make it right now. He refused to talk about his wife's drug issues. They asked him, they was like, well, that's the reason why she died. He was like, no, that's not why she died. And let me go on and expound on that, because y'all know I read the Bobby Brown book. Y'all know I'm fanatic. Listen, y'all know I can't stand Ray J. I cannot stand that motherfucker, because according to Bobby Brown, when Whitney died, and Whitney was screwing on Ray J. You know this. You know that was her drug boy, her D-boy that used to screw on her and bring her drugs, right? You know that, right? And he admitted that the only reason why he was messing with Whitney was to help his career, okay? Demon. That's another demon. But she just Leo's, okay, let me say this. Whitney is the Leo, right? Leo's like that action. They don't want to be bored messing around with Ray J, okay? Because she like that action. So when Whitney was found dead floating in the tub in the hotel, Ray J went down and was like, oh, what happened? Oh, okay. And then went right back to his room and continued partying. You were sleeping in with this woman for a while. You supposedly had love for this woman, right? And you're going to go back down to the room. Oh, okay. She dead. Party over here. That shit will always. The interviewer said drugs was the reason as to why she died. Bobby was like, no, that's not it. Bobby actually believed that dude, Bobby Christina's boyfriend, had something to do with it. Me too. And he need to pay. He need to pay for it. But I think civilly, civilly he won his case against the guy. I can't remember his name. He's so disgusting. Because I told y'all, I think he was screwing on Whitney first, and then he ended up screwing on Bobby Christina later. Yeah, I said it. So I said it. Other people that were in the documentary, like the family members, were saying that Bobby Brown was actually jealous of Whitney's career. And I don't think that to be true, because in the book, I remember Bobby saying that he stopped working so he could support his wife. I think it may have been a little bit of envy, I guess, to get this stage and glamour, because Bobby Brown is a ham. He's still a ham, even with that big old belly. He still loves the attention that he gets. It's just, I don't believe that it was jealousy, but whatever the case was, Whitney Houston started focusing more on trying to uplift Bobby's career, and she put her career on the back burner. Y'all remember when she was on stage hollering, the king of R&B, and when she had awards and shit. So let's get to Bobby Christina, right? So they also interviewed a person named Aunt Bay, who also, when they asked Aunt Bay when she was being interviewed, do you feel like Whitney Houston had a hard life? Aunt Bay was like, no. Whitney had a marvelous childhood. And I was like, them damn old people be in
wild, like a
But
motorcycle.
Aunt Bay had said that when Whitney was born, or when Bobby Christina was born, she just handed the baby to Aunt Bay, and she said Aunt Bay had her until she was 8 years old. Whitney decided that she wanted to take Bobby Christina on tour with her. Now, you would think, going off of the documentary, that the reason why Bobby Christina was on tour with her after 8 years old was because Whitney was remembering being without her mother those years when she had to stay. But with Bobby Christina, it just was like she was just a child that was around. That's it. Like, she's walking around alone in a home full of chaos and turmoil. Like, there is a monsoon going around her head, a tornado, earthquake, all kinds of devastation going on around her. And she's just a child walking alone. I think part of the reason why Bobby Christina fell to the wayside when it comes down to her parents is because, not even the drug use, because like I told you, we all know about the drug use. We want to make it about something else. But I think it was because, like I said, Whitney was way more in love with Bobby than she was with herself or being a mother. You know, I think it got to a point where she focused on Bobby, and that was the most important thing to her, because just to, correlate with the book, Whitney, even after the divorce, was still calling Bobby's new girlfriends, calling the places up, asking what's going on, what is, Bobby, you need to come on back home, blah, blah, blah. So she stayed in love with him very much so, I believe, till she died, because I think she believed that Bobby was coming back. I love this movie because it was things that I did not know. Okay. Now, what was funny was Whitney Houston had got to a point where she decided to go into rehab. Because, she tried to go in rehab before, but it didn't work. Because you can't never go to rehab or do anything for somebody else. You got to do it for you, like, weight loss. So she decided to go to rehab, and she was there for 7-8 months. Okay. She had to stop because she didn't have any more money. That shit right there, I was gasping. I had to clutch my pearls. Like, are you serious? Whitney Houston don't have no money. What happened was, a woman. What was her name? Her last name was it Volk? Lynn Volk had got her a part in Sparkle, the remake, and she loved it. She was clean, now get this, the only way that she could have gotten the Sparkle movie was that she had to be tested every week, and she had to be clean. And they said that Whitney was at her best. Okay. She was the best Whitney. They haven't seen a Whitney that good in a long time. Okay. She was at her best. Now, when the movie was over, what was disparaging was that Whitney did not want to leave, because she didn't want to leave that space where she felt good. She felt her old self. She was happy. She was clean. But reluctantly, she went back to Alpharetta. Now, also, if you all don't remember, she went out on that tour. Her voice was terrible. Okay. But she needed money. I never in my life would think that Whitney Houston would ever have a time in her life where she would need money. But then she got all them succubuses all over her. Just never thought that, She needed money. She did a good, great studio album. The people was pissed off at her because she didn't sound like Whitney. Years of smoking, drinking, drugging. But ultimately, you know how we end it. And remember this, the same people you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. Naysayers, my patron loves. Have a good one.